Alright troops, how are we all doing today? Today I'm going to be doing one of my old school speed painting challenges. We're going to be painting up a rider of Rohan. I do already have a speed painting challenge video for Rohan on my channel, but it was foot troops and it was, I don't know, 2 years ago now. I think my new recipe is a lot better. So this tutorial will show you my brand new recipe and also how I don't actually mind painting horses anymore. I know. So the main key to this recipe is Hydrax Brown spray from Colourforge. This just makes painting horses so much more approachable and much less hassle. You know, I am fully back from China now, so normal scheduling will commence. While I was there, I even got some awesome ideas for some Eastern themed terrain for my blue wizard army that I'm doing. Castle was absolutely incredible to visit. It really made me think of being a kid and playing Dynasty Warriors 3 again, as this castle was the birthplace of Zhou Yun. But anyway, without further ado, let's get cracking with these Rohan lads. So the commissioner wanted more basic poses for his riders of Rohan, and another stipulation was that they all had to have throwing spears. So I suggested the Diwali riders of Rohan, the West humans I think they're called. You might think there was only one spear armed warrior from Diwali, but I have a cunning plan. But before I tell you what my cunning plan is, I'm going to do the base quickly, as I want the sand to be base coated with the Hydrax Brown. I found myself kind of going off PVA glue recently and moving on to this army painting, basing matte glue thing. I've been having issues with PVA giving me kind of glossy, sandy bases, and we all know how I feel about glossy finishes. So I'm just quickly adding some glue to the base, then dunking it in sand. Any sand will do, depending on how coarse you want it to be. This one's quite fine. And then we just leave it to dry. Anyway, back to my cunning plan. So the Diwali kit, luckily the spear comes separately, which means you can print off an infinite amount of spear arms. You can print off multiple spear arms. I then can cut the arm off the axe warrior. There's, I think, an axe, 2 swords, and there's a banner bearer. And actually there's a captain as well, so you could even use the captain model if you wanted. Cut all the different arms off and replace them with spears. You know, this will give you 10 different riders and 5 different poses. Isn't that class? Just a quick editor's note here. I forgot to mention that converting stuff with resin is usually quite hard because resin can be, especially 3D printed resin, can be very brittle. However, I use the best of gear, Syriatech professional UV resin. It is more expensive than the kind of, I used to use the water washable stuff or just kind of cheap UV isopropyl stuff. And you know, everything would snap and I'd have to print off everything like 3 times. You know, you pay twice, as they say. Mr. Brandon from the Legion cast recommended this, and it's been an absolute game changer. I think in the entire time I've been printing with this stuff for about a year now, and I've never had a break, surprisingly. Even like in the post, sending stuff to different places around the world, I have not had any issues. This stuff is the tits. Look, as you can see here, this cube is just, look at this. Look at the amount of force I can put in this, and it doesn't even break. So this means it is actually perfect for converting. Like, I've been able to convert up loads of different kind of models and characters using this stuff, so sponsor me! I'm just taking my clippers and being very careful to cut just the axe arm off. I'm then giving it a little file on both sides just to make sure each side is smooth and easy to glue. Now we just add a little bit of super glue on the miniature, and then I put a little bit of saliva on the spear arm. You don't need to waste your money on fancy pants super glue activator. Saliva is the best activator. Fun fact is, saliva is actually such a good super glue activator that you cannot swallow liquid super glue. It will just harden in your mouth instantly. I recommend you all go and test this for science. And as you can see here, we have a hard bond between the arm and the model. All we need to do now is give it a lovely base coat of Hydrax Brown. Now, Hydrax Brown, I know I've said it so many times this episode, but Hydrax Brown is now my all-time favourite spray for Middle Earth. Can I get a cuddle? Not you. Oh. You know, the brown is absolutely perfect because it means I don't even need to paint the horses and I have brown horses. Oh, absolute godsend. Also, Rohan is quite a brown scheme as it is. It really lends itself to a base layer for every single different type of brown on the model, because I think I use about 4 or 5 different browns. You know, I do feel really sorry for people who live abroad and cannot get the Hydrax stuff. I'm really hoping that they do start shipping worldwide, because it's just been a game changer for me. So I'm just taking the model outside, giving it a good all over spray. If you miss any bits, you can give it a second coat. Once it's sprayed, give it a good sniff for scientific reasons. And now, as you can see here, it gives a lovely brown coat. It's basically Rhinox hide or the old scorched brown in a can. You can also see I've just quickly given the base a coating of Moonfang brown, and I've given the horse's hair a nice wee black coat of, I think it's Abaddon black. Now, I know I just said that I don't need to paint the horses because of the Hydrax brown base, but because I've already painted about 5 or 6 of these with that brown colour, I am going to give this horse a coating of Thondria brown, just to give it a slight different colour to the rest of them. You know, it is nice not to have to paint the brown, but it's also nice to have not the exact same colour of brown 5 times. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. So next up, I get Leadbelcher, which I think is a great base coat for all kind of metallic silvers, that is. You know, this is just going to go on the weapons and the mail. And can we all just agree how cool mail coifs are? Why is there not more of these in Middle Earth Strategy battle game? You know, they just remind me of this mad lad from the Pelennor. Then Doombull Brown, just for the saddle, nothing exciting here. Just giving this a once over coat. Now, Moonfang Brown, and my second favourite brown. For all the horse bridle straps and leather and other bits and bobs on the miniature, like the quiver and some of his belts and stuff. And a little pro tip here, try not to drop it and snap the arm off, for obvious reasons. Cadian flesh tone on the hands and the face, careful not to cover up the sexy male coif. Flayed 1 flesh on the beard. As we know, most people from Rohan have kind of blonde and dirty blonde hair, so I'm going to kind of emulate across the rest of these riders of Rohan. Also, just do the arrow feathers in the quiver. And as you can see, we are getting there, but there's still a few base layers to go. Castellan green is going on the cloak. We're going for an original Rohan scheme here to match what my client already has. I do like a more muted green rather than the kind of vibrant greens that you get in Rohan armies. I definitely think it looks a bit more realistic and ties in with the kind of wetter, grungy look if you have a kind of deeper, darker green. Also, don't forget the shield like I nearly did. Now, back to Old Faithful Rhinox hide. Yes, more brown. This is to kind of fix any mistakes that have been made. And also going through the footage here, I can see that I painted the leather armour with Thondria brown, but I forgot to film that. I do apologise. And that is all the base layers done. But before we go into the wash stage, I'm just going to quickly dry brush the base with some bone colour to match the previously done riders. Now, we've got Agrax Nuln and some Lamium Medium here, and I'm going to mix these together in a 1:1:1 ratio. I usually add medium now, as it tends to get rid of the kind of glossy finish. I have actually stopped using oils as much as I used to, as I now have ways to get rid of the kind of horrible glossy finish on models. I either use the Lamium Medium in with a wash, coupled with a ultra matte AK interactive varnish over the top, and I think that works an absolute treat. However, oil, I do love oil washing. I think it gives great effects, but it does take a lot more work, and it is very messy and it gets everywhere. I'll still use it, as you can see, for like tanks and stuff, like for getting like streak disease and all this kind of stuff, but I don't think I'm going to use it on infantry anymore because I'm very lazy. I don't know. Watch this space. You know, the jury is still out on this one because I am kind of, as much as I love oil washes, I am regressing to my old lazy ways of acrylic washes. Another great way to stop the glossy finish is to get a paid shaker for your washes. As you can see here, all the kind of sediment has settled at the bottom of this bottle of Nuln oil. this white looking kind of bit here. Give it a massive shake with the paint shaker and this should help filter it back through the wash and make it nice and matte. Once mixed, we blast this all over the miniature. The medium will stop the wash from being too strong and it will give a really good finish. If there are any big pools, make sure to kind of spread it out with your brush or use some kitchen paper to kind of mop it up. We don't want these big dirty pools lying in the parts of the model. So, I know this was supposed to be like a kind of time thing to show you how fast to do the Rohan again, and I realised, oh, Jesus Christ, that's a terrible place for a light at the moment while I'm trying to film this. I realised I've got to the wash stage and I forgot to put the timer on, which was the whole point of this video. So it's gone from a timed thing to just a painting tutorial. And there's no Rohan tutorials online at all, ever. No one's done any of those, you know. This is the first time anyone has ever done a Rohan painting tutorial. But I'm pretty much finished, so I'm gonna crack on because otherwise I'll go mad. So, yeah. What kind of transition is it going to be? Belly transition! So now I've got this paint and I don't think it's right. It says Word Bearer's Red, but I've been using it a lot in my videos. I'm starting to think it's not the right name. Because when I go on the website, I noticed that the Word Bearer's Red is really red, surprisingly enough. Unlike this, which is like a really dark coloured brown. Either way, this is the colour I'm using. If anyone knows what it's called, do let me know. So I'm just getting this on the brush and doing sort of a light dry brush type stabby, scratchy motion over the horse. I want this to look like horsehair and give the model some texture, and I feel this is the best way to do it. Next up, Stormhost Silver, again dry brushing the metallics, giving this male coif that extra oomph to make it all sexual. How cool are metal coifs? How cool? It's so cool. Like, look at this guy. How cool is that? And then use Straken Green to dry brush the cape in the same manner as I did the horse. I really want that kind of fabricy, dry brushed look to my capes. I think it looks a lot better than edge highlighting them up. I've kind of decided that whenever it comes to kind of a cloth and material, I prefer the dry brush to the edge highlight because it just looks more natural and it's 10 times faster. But Celestia Grey up next. This one's gone a bit blue. I need to give it a quick mix. That's much better. Again, exciting stuff here at JMax Armies of Arda. We are dry brushing the horse's black hair, and we're going to do it in the exact same manner as we did the cape and just to highlight the black hair. Kislev Flesh up next to highlight the face and fingers. We want to be as careful as we can with this, as faces and bases are crucial. We want those features to stand out nice and fine like so. Flayed One Flesh to highlight the face even finer, being even more careful to bring out those details. Add white to finally highlight the arrow feathers and some of the strands within the beard. Then I'm going back to old favourite Moonfang Brown to bring up some of the washed out details, making the leather more vibrant before edge highlighting it up again with Skag Brown. Tuskor Fur for a small edge highlight on the saddle. This should take you barely any time at all because it's only 2 little bits. And then we're going back to Straken Green because I'm an idiot and I forgot to do the shield. I'm just going to kind of do wooden looking lines along the shield. I think it looks pretty cool. Then the Mystery Word Bearer Red to edge highlight all the cloth and leather armour on the rider. And finally, adding a couple of tufts and away we go. So here are all the riders together, and I have to say, I'm quite happy with these. And the look I've got from the limited time spent, you know, I'm very chuffed. But do let me know what you think in the comments. Is this a good way to speed paint a Rohan? I think it could be quite topical for the upcoming new releases. Are we all excited? That new starter set looks... You know, finally we're getting some plastic warriors. The Rohan and the Dunland that both look awesome. 2 sets of plastic warriors, 2 plastic heroes for each side. Probably a rulebook. Oh, are we ready, lads? Are we ready? Because I don't think I am. I'm just hoping that means I hope it sells well and we finally get new plastic Last Alliance. I know saying it means it'll never happen, but please. And please make the swords and shields not just swords. Anyway, where was I going? Yes, here are the finished product. Let's go back to that, shall we? So, before I got distracted, do let me know what you think in the comments of this painting scheme, and how are you happy with it, or would you do it differently? Let me know your thoughts. And of course, a huge thank you for making it this far in the video. It is very much appreciated. And if you really like the absolute wank that I put out these days, please feel free to have a wee look on the Patreon. All the paid tiers get dice and Discord and other stuff. I think the top tiers even get a free hero commission painted every 6 months or something. I can't remember what I put on there. Go have a look, go check it out.
Money please!
And of course a big thank you to my shaggers for keeping the lights on here at JMax Armies of Arda. The support is much appreciated, especially when you've kept supporting me even though I've been away for a few weeks gallivanting about China. I didn't film it, but somebody's done a big jobby and then used their jumper to wipe their arse and just left it on the side of the mountain. It's giving me Clydebank vibes up this Chinese mountain, you know. I never thought I'd feel like I was in Clydebank up here. Different view though. Free range mountain chickens. Look at the size of this cunt. Hello. Size this fucker. Hey, you're vicious. He's the sexy one, look at him. Oh aye, he's showing off. My god, they're huge. Thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to give my bell a good old ring. Wow. Astramatum grey? What? Admatistratum? Celestia grey? Wait, what? Oh yeah, it was Celestia grey that. Right. Hello! How are you today? Wonderful! What the fuck was that? Nah, let's just do a normal intro, shall we? We're going to be painting up quite a few riders. We're going to be painting up a rider of Rohan. We're going to be painting up a rider of Rohan. You know, I do feel really sorry for people who live abroad and cannot get the Hydrax stuff. I'm really hoping that they... Fuck me. I'm really hoping that they do start shipping worldwide, because it's just been a game changer for me. Right guys, I need some filthy fucking clickbait for YouTube. I don't really know what... I can't just do Rohan tutorial, because there's a billion of them. 10 reasons why the new starter set is class. that allowed? There's nothing really to do with that. 10. Painting Rohan from the new starter. That's just a lie. It's just a lie. Oh, I hate this show. Why did I start a YouTube channel? I didn't know it was going to be all about fucking clickbait manipulation. You won't believe what I did in my pants. Nah, it doesn't work. You won't believe the new starter set. New starter. I don't know. Oh, I hate this. Help!